Why did an error occur? No. I think I fixed it. I drove. They had like 10 minutes open. I hate going there. And I like to wait until the very, very, very last second. Not because I don't want to like drive there. It's because, you know, it's expensive. It wasn't even that expensive. It was like $15, okay? But you know how much money is going into this shit? No. But we're not complaining today. Also, Mother Nature has made herself known. So now I'm going to be nicer. Okay. Let's just go straight into it. I've been dragging ass, so I don't know if Ben Thorpe is going to want to come anymore. I didn't answer his text because you're weird. Okay, don't text me shit like that. If Prancessy is in the house, then you are welcome to come on. We got to grow his channel. Hi, Miguel. Hi, Steven. Hi, Uber Cow. Okay. I also watched some of Myron's new stuff with Fresh and Fit, obviously, and it's already been way better. Did you guys watch it? No? Oh, whoops. I can hear myself. I have such a weird voice. Are we back to ASMR shit or what? Just kidding. Okay, hold on.
If I was wrong about this,
All right.
$500. If you were to take Brian and take you out to the street tomorrow,
Sure.
and Brian walked over to 50 different women, walked over to them randomly, and just patted them on the back and started rubbing it, and then you went over to 50 random men, patted them on the back and started rubbing their back, which do you think would have a more negative response?
I mean, it's obvious, but why?
Wait, it's obvious.
It's obvious. Of course, it's going to be, yes, the women. You're right. I agree with what you're saying. I think I'm trying to. Yes, it is.
Then no, why? So how come nobody gives a shit about men? How
Why
come
do they
nobody
not
gives
give
a shit about women essaying
They don't
men?
give
Why
a shit
they care?
about it because it's not communicated that
Piers.
is a problem to men. They hide that fact and make it seem like, I don't know. I don't even know why people do that.
So is it a problem if? So is it not a problem if women don't communicate it? So is the communication the issue, or is the essay the issue?
To me, a lot of it does have to do with the communication of that. Like, you need to be clear about your boundaries, and nobody's going to know.
I'm confused. We're talking about total strangers here. So hold on, Nick. Pull up the infographic.
Okay.
You're gonna have to move the chat, but so you have here. So there's reciprocal interpartner violence and non-reciprocal interpartner violence. So reciprocal, they're both fucking beating on each other. Non-reciprocal, that's where one's beating on the other. The other is not reciprocating. So they actually found in non-reciprocal interpartner violence that women are much more likely to be the sole aggressor when it comes to domestic violence.
But let me quickly point out, just to kind of wrap this up, that what you just got done saying would be a thing that you would rage against, which is, well, wait a second, you kept it to yourself and you didn't speak up, you must have wanted it. How would that sound the other direction if a man said to you, oh, you didn't speak up, you didn't say anything, you must have wanted it.
Yeah, they do. That actually does happen. That's the whole point.
And
That's
you
the
would be
whole
against
reason.
it, right?
Yeah, but the difference is also, like, when we do try to communicate it, it's not taken seriously, nor is it's those things get in the way.
I thought the argument we were just having was that now it's taken far more seriously.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we voice it at least a little bit more than men, that we don't like certain things.
So it's men's fault that if women SA them and they don't speak up, it's them. But if the roles are reversed and women don't speak up, they're a victim.
No. It's an equal.
Okay,
thing.
I'm sorry. I'm going to bring it back to her. So okay, so we were talking about oppression. Aside from the two examples that you provided, which it's not clear to me immediately.
Something that bothered me towards the end of the show, which, by the way, they're at 7 hours and 13 minutes out of 8 hours and 30 minutes. I don't know if it began at this point, but it seems that whenever the girls make a valid point, which I don't think it was here, but when he interrupted them and wanted to move on, it reminded me. But whenever they would make a valid point, criticism, wanting to see other data pulled up, Brian moves it along. Like, that makes you look guilty. Just wait until you hear this stuff about how white men are, which I'm on their side, but Asian women make more money than them. I know the stat they're talking about. I'm just like, damn, that's dirty. That to me is bad faith.
I believe that that's evidence of oppression. Is there anything else?
Of oppression.
Oh, yeah.
for me?
Well, you said how you've been oppressed. Yeah.
How I've been oppressed.
Because you said women are oppressed and asked how you're oppressed.
I know that you don't view that as an oppression, as a form of oppression. I would argue that personally, those are, because they are systemic. I know.
How are they systemic?
I've explained this a couple times, but it's just the idea that these are.
So is the government sending out like.
Things can be systemic without being related to the government. There are systemic processes that occur. There are processes that replicate themselves over and over again that have nothing to do with the government.
But I just showed you data that indicates that when it comes to non-reciprocal.
That data was from.
It was from the CDC.
But it was from a while ago. And
Well, I didn't know that. Like, I'm curious what Brian's thought process was when he keeps saying that's not oppression. I don't think that's oppression. He uses "I think," and so like I feel like it tricks people into thinking that he's like correct, and he's not. It was absolutely oppression. I'm sending you. I'm sending it now. Hold on.
And domestic violence rates have actually decreased since then.
I would like to see another source, if I'm being honest, before we go solely based off of one.
Yeah,
I feel like
All violent crimes have decreased. All, not just domestic.
But so it's not like. So are you saying that women are there's a systemic thing against men when it comes to non-reciprocal interpartner violence?
Could you repeat the question?
Well, I mean, using the infographic that I showed, which was a CDC study, it showed that when it came to non-reciprocal interpartner violence, that men were the victims in 70% of cases.
Victims of what? Physical abuse. Well, were they hitting each other? Well, I mean, I'm sorry. Was she defending herself? How did you get to that males were the victim? Because something got there. Like, that's why I don't like the infographics. It looks weak. Okay, pull up the stat. Zoom in, bitch. Zoom in. It's just, I think, like we have a strong side. Why cherry pick this shit? It's like, come on. Like, with love. It's like, really, you're gonna pull that up? I don't know. I'm just miserable.
Which would indicate that in that context, women are much more likely to be the aggressor.
I think that when you're looking at data like that, you have to realize that women have been told not to come forward with these things. The majority of
No, you can make that same argument.
That data is relying off of solely.
And with love, look at how they treat women who do come forward whenever there's something that happens in the news. It's immediately met with hostility. And it's like, so why didn't they go to the police? Like, I've explained this so many times. The statute of limitations, not just, what's it called when it, not statute, that's like timeline, but the things you need in order to get a conviction, which isn't a police report, okay? I just want you guys to be like up to date. All you need is a testimony, and then people will decide what they think, or the judge decides. So that's minimum, but that's only if you're in a civil case. It's like, what if it's the father of your child and he's beating the shit out of you and he's broke? You're going to put him in jail so then his child, or then his son doesn't have a dad for a certain amount of time? Like, what's the vibe? Because it doesn't line up, and I don't think people actually think about it that way. You have to put yourself in the other person's shoes. If God forbid, if my husband was beating the shit out of me, but wasn't beating the shit out of my kid, I probably wouldn't go to the cops. Period. Why? So they can go visit their dad in jail? What? So when he gets out, he kills me? It's just, it's there's not a lot of protections, and you see this a lot in Japan, or not Japan, South Korea, North Korea, not North Korea. It's Japan. It's Japan. Final answer. They don't even have. We covered it a couple months ago. It was something like they don't have order of protections. So when you like in the US, let's say the girl files, he essayed her, whatever, and beat her up. And then it goes to the court. There's no automatic order of protection put on her. I don't even think they have the order of protection. So a lot of times they go to jail, make bail until the next court date, and that's when. So just like think for a little bit I hate having to like hash this out, but it seems like it's like I feel like we're in that movie with the blindfold. It's like, I'm sorry, what? What about essay? No, it's all lies. Okay, well, if all men are saying it's all lies, and then what? They go there, nobody believes them anyway. It's like, okay. And genuinely, a lot of people don't realize it's EPAR until later. I know that's an unpopular thing, but that's our laws. And you know what? I want you, when that part pisses you off, I want you to think about maybe you know somebody, a boy in particular, who was molested. And he doesn't realize how bad it was. Or let's say an older woman grooms him, and he's this is common, more common. Teenage boy gets groomed by a teacher. They sleep together. He wanted it, right? It's like you could argue that, but he was still underage, and he might not realize the impact that it has on him until 10 years from now. He can't hold a stable relationship, can't hold a job, can't focus, constant bouts of stress, crying related to the event. Or it could be really confusing feelings like, I think I wanted it. So is this, but why am I so distant from my girlfriend? It is correlated in some regard. There's many factors, but it's just be mindful on this shit. Because I was in women's shelters. I'm gonna fuck you up. We need male shelters. Yes, we need a different. When it comes to men, I think the biggest issue is less about the violence. Being attacked by women is no joke, and I'm not going to say it's a smaller proportion, but I would say men have like a bigger case to say, like stalking in some regard. Even if you get in a fight and it's your apartment, Lokai, how many times did you have to walk out of there and get around her out through the door because she wouldn't leave? You can't put your hands on her, right? If you call the cops, a Duluth model, they immediately take the men as the perpetrator, which sucks, but it came with a lot of good. Okay. It a lot of times they would call and end up keeping it gender neutral, and then the girls would get killed on the extreme end. So it's good. It's good in that regard. But they acknowledge that it's a slippery slope. But at this point, there's nothing else in terms of the way that cops investigate certain situations that anything else would immediately remove them from the premises. Just right now, they're working on it though. It's not like it's like like they knew when this was becoming implemented that it came with those implications. So I'll shut the fuck up.
Reported cases. It
You think-
doesn't
Oh my God, protest! Sorry.
Do you really think? Wait, hold
Hold
on.
on.
Do you really?
No worries.
I suck. I was looking at the video. I'm so ADD.
No worries. I didn't watch the whole whatever podcast. I was kind of catching up on some aspects of it.
I like your background.
Thank you. It hasn't changed. I have some more lights today.
Oh, really? I thought it was white before.
Well, yeah, I bought a really cheap red light and a blue light on Amazon, and
I
I just
love
put one on each
that.
side.
It looks good. It looks good. Okay, so
I
you
was
haven't
creating
watched
my
it.
setup.
What?
Yeah, I caught a part where they were going in on the Tobey Maguire thing, but I think it was a pretty
age
long
gaps.
podcast. So yeah,
Who's Tobey Maguire again? I know it was in the title. I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
he's like the OG Spider-Man. So now he's
Oh.
like in his late 40s.
What's your take on age gaps? Just curious. I probably have a hot take.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. Obviously, the big problem with the Whatever podcast is they don't have the most strongest debaters. Didn't find myself agreeing with anyone arguing against Andrew Wilson, but I don't agree with Andrew Wilson. But how do I explain it? To me,
On the age gaps?
yeah, and I want to think about it more, but initial thoughts, I do think there is like ick when a guy is that old dating a 20-year-old. I think it shows like they're clearly only interested in sex at that point, because I'm not sure what else they'd be getting out of a relationship like that.
Yeah.
So I don't have like a hard, like it can never be done, but something feels weird about it to me. And I want a better reason to go against it, but I need to think a bit more about it.
You want my hardcore take?
Yeah, I want to hear yours.
Okay, I don't know how thoughtful. Well, I've thought about it, but I always suck at explaining it. Okay, a couple things. I have been in age gap relationships, and I personally have never had an issue ever. But and they were actually positive relationships in my past. However, there's more of an argument to be made for older women to go for younger men in their early 18, 19, 20. And the reason for that is women's sexual peaks around 30. And so, and when I say older, I'm thinking like 35, 30s, whatever. It's like there's a biological reason, because boys or young men, ew, I didn't mean to say boys, young men, their sexual peak is at 18, 19, 20. So it's like biologically, older men have absolutely no reason to go with younger women other than the fact that that's how they did it historically. Like there's a biological reason, arguably, on the female side. Aside from that, in other countries where they practice pedophilia, just kidding, I shouldn't say it like that, but
Hilarious.
yeah, it's like when they can't clearly, I don't want to say, like, I'm keeping it vague, but it seems like they can't clearly define even puberty for a woman, and there's something about it that's like super predatory. What, like I was saying though, with like how boys might sleep with a teacher and they're 17 and they might think they want it and they don't realize the implications that come later. That's what's going on when we see women getting really mad about men with younger women. But, well, I'm assuming that's what it seems like. Maybe I'm just... No, that seems right.
Actually, I'm trying to think context. I actually wrote a note about that because I was trying to think of why it's different. Obviously, it's handled differently in society when it's like a male teacher versus a female teacher.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of why that is. And it's just still thinking about this, but I think it's usually the men that kind of say like, oh, that's not a big deal. Like, I feel like women are more understanding that that's the issue, whether it's a guy or a woman. But it seems like more so, maybe it's coming from like the South Park episode that was like 15 years ago, where like guys are more like, yeah, high five, dude, and don't feel like it's really an issue.
I think it's, well, so here's the issue that like is underlying the whole thing. Like I say age gaps are great. I've had a really good experience, but I don't know if that's like I really don't think that's the majority. Usually it's always bad when I hear about it from other people. But hold on. It was something. Oh, they showed images of different girls, young women's bodies to men, and men picked which silhouettes they found the most attractive. And almost all of them said below the age of 14, which there's been this thing from the girl side of things where it's like, are all men secretly PDF files? The fact that they pick those as the most sexually attractive, while I'm not at all advocating for PDF anything, it makes you wonder if men at large, it really is a biology issue, and just, but at the same time, like, if you can't consent, you can't consent. But when we talk like 18 and a 45-year-old, dude, I made so many, I think of myself and I'm like, yeah, I was mature for my age, but I was stupid up until like a couple years ago. It's like, I could have made really bad decisions. The problem is, like, if you get a really older guy that's so focused on the age thing because he's low-key a PDF file, he will do what he can to marry her, and then she will end up maybe popping out kids, and like, you don't even have enough time to decide if that's something that you want to do until like at least 25. Maybe that's just preference. But then at the same time, I've seen couples with like 16-year age gaps that worked out really well. And that was because it was really normalized in like Italy and stuff, like 16-year age gaps, and like their families knew each other. So it's like a different culture. I don't know.
I thought 16 is not insane. It's pretty big, but like, I mean, what's the Tobey Maguire difference? It's like 49 and 20.
Yeah. I don't know, something about. So girls will be like, why can't he get anybody his own age? And I used to be like, they're just miserable, until I kind of get it. Like, I had good relationships, but they didn't have their shit together like they said they did. I was really naive and I was looking to have kids, and now I don't want them at all. So it's like so much you can, like, what happens if you end up having those kids and then you have nothing set up? And that's that typical feminist argument. And it's like, well, the other thing, I'm a caretaker. I don't know if you knew this, but I take care of my mom because she has dementia. And if I would have dated or married one of the men that I had a relationship with, it's only about 10 years, and not 10, but like 20 years until they end up going through dementia. And then there I am spending the rest of my early 20s and 30s taking care of them and having to make that decision. And it's no fucking joke. It really isn't. I would like, that's one of the reasons I don't want kids anymore. So it's like, you have to pay attention. Like, he might be in good shape or she might be in good shape, but these are real, like, issues. I don't know.
And you're talking about your theoretical husband, because men also die earlier on average, right?
Yeah, there used to be a saying that some of the older men, when they've really used all their life to be bachelors, now they realize that nobody's around, and sometimes they just look for like a nurse. Somebody called it, I forget what they called it, like nursemaid or something. And I'm like, because at the end of the day, we do things that's for our own benefit, whether you want to think you're altruistic. Like, everybody has their sort of thing that they're doing, and it's like, why can't you get somebody that's closer to your age so that we're not promoting anything that could, like, borderline PDF, and
what we can go to more into general cases, but going back to the Tobey Maguire case, because I think it's interesting you brought up kids, because my first thought of like, why is Tobey Maguire doing something like this? I'm thinking they must kind of be over long-term relationships that they're like, I'm only interested in the short-term kind of fling right now. That's my mindset. I can imagine Tobey Maguire thinking like, oh, this is a long-term partner that's right for me. But I don't know how celebrities think, so maybe I'm wrong there.
See, the way that I've heard guys, at least on YouTube, talk about wanting somebody younger, they justify it by saying, well, they're not ready to settle down. And it's like, from my worldview, like, the women I knew were looking for husbands when they were like 17, 18. So it's like, are you saying that? Like, they say that, and then you'll see them talk about in front of the girl, talking about how they're going to get married and stuff. And like, my spidey senses go off, like, he's lying to this girl and she's eating it up. And that part's sad because you only have a certain amount of time,
And that's an issue where when the age gap's really significant, one's probably going to be a little bit more naive than the other.
Yeah, and like, the only reason why they're naive is because they haven't seen the pattern yet. And so, and like older women, they don't necessarily have baggage. They're just calling out like the lies, and people don't like to be called out on their shit. They might not even be aware that they're doing it. I don't know. I like to assume that some people just behave in a way, because if I think that they think that, I would just assume that they're like evil in some regard. I don't know. Like
I don't know where it
sadistic.
came from, but I was heard like half your age plus 7 was like a good ballpark.
We didn't meet that thing, but yeah.
Well, like I said, ballpark. There's always exceptions. I will say, yeah, I've never had a significant age gap in any of my relationships.
What if, let me ask you something. Let's say that we didn't develop antibiotics or something. Our typical lifespan was till like 30. Is it just, no, let's say, because then they would be dead. Hold on. Let's assume that it was like 45, 50. It's like, I can kind of see the justification, which is like the historical perspective. It's like, but when we're living to like, I don't know, 80, 90. I don't know. What do you think? Does that have anything?
I imagine that would have impact. I'm not sure like how much it would be, but I'm sure it would lower some dating brackets at least a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know.
Which I feel like personally, again, and this is why I'm curious. 'Cause I honestly think you know more about the red pill than I do. A lot of especially the more social media centric ones, I feel that they really emphasize they really seem to only care about looks when it comes to the partner they're looking for. Where that was never kind of my experience. Like I like ambition. I think that's like kind of sexy, but it seems like for most men, that's not in the equation at all.
And I'm not saying this like, sometimes it'll come off like, oh, here I am, a woman telling men what they should do. But from my experience, really well-educated, well-known in the community, men, networked, own businesses and stuff, they all want somebody with some intelligence. You don't necessarily need college, but they like somebody who's involved and outgoing in that regard. Like, looks is cool if you're like kind of a loser. Like, people don't really want to draw attention to themselves. Like the people that I've been around, like the upper echelon of people, they don't want to be known as the guy that has a girl that looks that young. Like, you can be like 30 and he's 60. It's just got something different to it though, you know, than like an 18-year-old, unfortunately. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't know. But in the red pill, they don't promote that shit. I think that's more the pipeline of the alt-right, if I'm being honest.
With the grifters, whatever.
Yeah, like the red pill is more for like married men, you know, so.
I can see that.
Yeah. Damn, it's popping in here.
Are there any stats of like how divorced men and how they date versus previously? Like, do they go more younger or older post a divorce?
After marriage, I don't know. I do know that it's like below 12% on people that have an age gap of more than 6 years. Like most people are like 3 to 4, I think, something like that. So while on YouTube, everybody talks about wanting a woman in her peak and shit, it's not like playing out, I guess. But wait, what was your question? I totally. What do they date after their wife? The girl side that I've heard when I like talk to older women and like their friends and what they say, it's like he always left her for somebody younger. A lot of people see women divorcing the men and they're like, oh, women are fucking up the marriages and stuff. But a lot of times there's, at least from my perspective, there's infidelity and there's nothing the woman could do. She was blindsided, you know, she can't compete with somebody who's younger. So
yeah, I don't know the stats, but I've heard that too, where like people get upgraded for kind of.
Yeah, like it's not even that the girl like gives up her youth or whatever. I've heard being repeated. It's like she gives up her youth and then she's angry that he leaves her for somebody younger when she used all her capital. Like, no, she's mad at him because he broke up the family and now what, she's supposed to put up with it? Fuck that. I don't know.
Any chats we should read?
Yeah. I suck at reading them. You want to read them? You're like, oh, fuck.
I'm getting new to this whole like vertical orientation. A little different for me.
We're growing. 91. Shout out your channel. I'll put in the chat if you want.
Yeah, I don't think I'm even big enough where I have a like custom link yet. I'll post that there, but follow me at the Process. I'm also dual streaming this there. I'll put a link.
Did I put it in there? Did I spell it right? Process. Prawnces. Blindsided. Armando. I'm looking to date. Apps and SM has ruined single women. They all want 100K and are
What's
unrealistic. Take me back to the 50s. Oh, please. Where women were like hooked on drugs in the home and shit. Like, okay, that was dramatic, but
what is SM?
I don't know. Sugar mama? I don't know. SMV or no? It's got to be social media. Social media has ruined single women. I don't think it. Yeah, it has. It's ruined everybody. I don't think it's just women, but well, I don't know.
I think a lot of men are just kind of upset. Yeah, they have to like be better now. They can't just like rely on their paycheck to get them by.
Elaborate on that.
This is a hot take version, but I think a lot of men. Well, previously you can kind of like have a nice job, and like that was enough to get a really, really high status woman.
That wasn't enough.
Now you got to do that plus like be a like generally good person and have like a good personality. Also, you can't just rely on just that anymore.
Do you think it's possible that women want to dump their men because they're bored and want excitement? They just don't want to cheat on them. You think they do?
Do you? I'm just curious. Do you believe in like the whole red pill thing? Like men or the men and women cheat differently, or why the reasons why they cheat is different?
Is that a red pill thing?
I guess I hear it as a talking point, maybe.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'm thinking of Fresh to Fit how they're like they use that.
Oh yeah, I know what
okay to.
Yeah,
they're allowed to cheat, but women can't. You know.
Whenever they say they're like, with all due respect, they'll say something like, "Yeah, what do women say right when you cheat on them? Like, do you love her?" And we say, "Did you fuck him?" And I'm like, "No, did you fuck her?" Like, I'm immediately asking about the sex. I don't ask, do you love her? What the fuck do I look like? But they make it seem like that's just the way that women are. I think they want to believe that about us because it helps them justify the reason she leaves them. I don't know. Like, oh, she just like fell in love. It's like, could have been the dick. Who knows?
That and justify their own cheating because they're like, oh no, it's different.
Yeah. Or they want us to believe that it's not emotional for them when it absolutely is. And the reason that I say that is because not because, but I think of like mistresses. She made him feel good in some regard, like, made him feel more like a man and liked. The wife's probably nagging. I know I would be.
But I forgot why I brought that up. I think you asked me a question, and I don't know if I answered it.
Oh, shit. You asked me about the cheating, emotional and physical or something, the red pill point.
Yeah, I forget why. You asked something.
Yeah, fuck.
We should just move on. I'm new to this whole
Do you want to
thing.
lead this shit? You're better at it than I am, and I can learn a thing or two.
Do we want to do more React stuff, or do we just want to have a free-floating conversation?
Let's just do a free-for-all. Fuck it. No?
Well, we had fun talking about... Well, I feel we should not talk about red pill, because you talk about that way too often.
It's a way of life, baby. I'm just kidding.
Although I did have one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I caught a little bit about your thing on the Purple Pill podcast. I think
Mhm.
you're talking about whether women like to be approached.
Mhm.
And actually, I need to look into it more. But the Playing with Fire channel just did like a video on this new study. I didn't look at the study at all, so I don't know how rigorous it is.
Mhm.
But basically, the implications of the study are women 18 to 25 want to get approached and are not getting approached nearly as much as they used to post like COVID.
I love that. That's a good sign. That's a really good thing. You don't know if it's recent?
I think it's very recent, but I thought I saw you like saying the opposite, where women do not like getting approached.
By creepy men. It's different.
Okay, well, true.
They
But I don't
come
know.
up to us and say, "Do you want to fuck?" It's like, go home, bro. So
I do
that's
wonder if
what I
your
mean.
experience is like tainted by being a bartender. Maybe you get like a special type of guy.
I was approached, like cold approach, if you want to be technical, by a guy that I dated for like 2 years. So I think cold approach can work. You got to be socially aware. You got to build the skills. It's a skill set that involves a lot of fucking up. So I empathize.
I don't disagree there. Yeah, just you got to do it right. But if it works out, yeah, women usually like that.
Yeah. I think when you're in the right place, which people are like, well, when is that? And it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't listen to people about it. Just do what seems right. Because some people will be like, don't approach her at the gym. And then other people are like, yeah, you should. It's like, just do
That's the one
it.
place I feel really weird doing it, at the gym. I don't know why. Like at the grocery store would be fine, but at a gym, I don't know. I feel like it's like people want their private space.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm projecting because I just like wear my headphones in and I just like
Yeah.
want to zone out.
Yeah. I always think about that. I'm like, ugh, like sometimes if I'm, because the gym community, at least all the ones I've gone to, I go in the mornings and everybody's like, oh, hey, how are you? Like, have you tried this, that? And like everybody's really friendly. But then like I have social anxiety. Other times I go and I'm like, don't fucking talk to me. I think it's like hard to, I don't know. Like sometimes I probably would be fine with it, but I don't know.
Damn.
If I have
Maybe it's
makeup
my
on.
maybe it's my ADD. I seriously cannot like work out without headphones. Like I need to be like listening to music or like a YouTube video or
Must be nice to be a
I don't
man.
know.
I can't wear headphones because I have to be alert and aware of my surroundings.
Well, if you have the AirPods, they have like not noise canceling, but spatial awareness, so you can still hear shit that comes over
Really?
the announcer.
No way.
Yeah, it's like meant for like if you're at an office, so like someone yells at you, like you can
Oh,
still
that's
hear them.
cool. Maybe I
It's
will get
part of the
them.
AirPods.
I don't even think I listen to music when I go. That's crazy. Now that I think of it.
It's good for like a really hard workout, like when you're like want to get like the last rep in or something.
Yeah.
It
What
has
do you
some
listen
pump-up
to?
music. Well, actually, I'm really weird. I listen to like eclectic hipster music. It's like all over the place.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
I'm like, maybe I can share my Spotify. What's on there? Well, you might not guess by the looks of me, but growing up, I was like a punk kid. Like I really like
I
wanted
could
to like
tell.
have like a spiky jacket and stuff. Mhm.
Oh, really? What's your favorite band?
I had to pick
That's
one.
punk.
That's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
I love post punk, so I love like Wire, Joy Division, stuff like that.
Joy Division. Joy Division.
They're pretty well known, so that's why I named out them. I'm like one of those hipsters where like the more obscure it is, like the more I'm into it.
I love that. Who else?
Fuck. It's just too many. I was listening to some old school 80s hardcore recently. What was I listening to? Dark Throne, some black metal, you know?
I wish I grew up in the 80s. I feel like they had it.
I was born in the 80s for like 16 days.
Lucky. Yeah.
I'll send you a link to my Spotify. You can look at my playlist.
Yeah, I will. Can you pick songs on Spotify or does it just shuffle it?
You can do multiple. You can set a playlist because you recommended playlists.
Okay. Yeah, no, you definitely gave me punk vibes.
Interesting. Okay. I'm not going for it. I feel like my background's like pretty zen.
No, it's a good thing. All smart people I know are into punk. Like really, really smart people. Which is weird. I wonder if there's a correlation.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, this is my perspective or bubble because I grew up being very punk, very anti-authoritarian, and like I kind of like seen punks like go like the left wing route and the right, left and right. So it's been interesting to see them go, and I feel like I'm like I'm like in the middle sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like countercultural kind of back in the day. My dad said that. I don't know if that's true. He listened to like heavy metal and punk. I don't know what punk meant in the 60s, if I'm being honest with you. Like I'm more
That's like pre-punk almost. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there was a guy who went to, you know how there's like a high school that's north and then the south one, it's like the same name. The south school, I went to GBN, but at GBS there was, I think the guy that's in either My Chemical Romance or Green Day like went there. Is there somebody with red hair,
Yeah.
like a dude?
I could see that in either of those bands, a lot of dyed hair.
I can't think of his name.
I think I'm going to see Green Day in like a couple months, actually.
Really?
My dad invited me.
Everybody's gonna hate me. I was like not really a Green Day fan.
Actually, I was too, but just because I was like a really early hipster, I was like, oh no, this is mainstream now. I'm over it.
See, I always got called a hipster, and I feel like hipsters like myself are into like, I don't know, like Pink Floyd and shit. Like,
That's like more hippie almost, but there's a lot of
hippie?
overlap.
No, it's not
Pink
hippie.
Floyd
That's
is
a
definitely-
Grateful Dead. Grateful Dead and like jam bands, I feel like are hippie.
I feel like that's
Sublime.
those are pretty close to Pink Floyd. I mean, I like Pink Floyd, but it's drug music.
Do you know? I won't go into it. I won't go into it. One
I
of
don't know
their
where that was gonna go.
Sid, their
Oh yeah,
band
one of the first
members.
acid casualties.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, they weren't into that many drugs, but yeah, they were.
One of
You
them
don't like
literally-
drugs?
Yeah. No, I like drugs. I like mostly weed these days, but in my 20s, I did like some psychedelic stuff. Nothing too crazy.
You don't like Pink Floyd?
No, I said I do like Pink Floyd.
Oh,
I just
you
think
do?
it's hippie. It's hippie music.
For some reason, I keep saying I don't like Pink Floyd. I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Like,
I mean, I don't like all their songs, but they have a lot of good ones.
yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
What's the album with the guys shaking, the hands on fire?
What's the
Yeah.
name of the fucking album with the Stoneheads? I've been trying to think of that all day because I've been working on my memory. And so, like, things that I'm very familiar with, I will forget and I won't Google it. And I'm like, what the fuck is the name of that album with the two Stoneheads? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I've seen it. I'm gonna look it up. Actually, I sold them all now, but I inherited a bunch of records from my dad when I was like in my 20s, and he had a bunch of Pink Floyd records. Apparently, it's Division's Bell.
Damn
I
it!
had that one.
Damn it! Damn it! Wait, what song? What's number 7? Does it number it, or is that just
What?
on CDs?
Oh, number 7 on that song.
Yeah, on that album.
Doing some intense googling.
I know. I could do it. I'm just like, just want to see.
I do feel like you're errand boy right now. Go look up this song. I can't find a track list. I'm over it.
Okay. Wait, does your dad, did he give you any like Led Zeppelin? I'm obsessed with Houses of the Holy, the album cover. It's like my favorite.
Which one was that? But he went to Led Zeppelin, like the Who,
Yeah.
Grateful Dead, a lot of that stuff.
Wow.
I sold all of it.
Bastard.
They're such a pain in the ass to move. That's why they're so heavy. When you have a lot of them, you'd
Really?
be really surprised.
I didn't know
I
that.
used to have like a big trunk they're in, and it was like one of the heaviest things to move when I had to do that.
Oh.
And also, like, records are cool, but you gotta like flip them. It's really easy just to have like Spotify, or I gotta say, I've been a YouTube Premium subscriber for like years. I gotta start using YouTube Music because that's included.
Yeah, it's awesome because you can like do other stuff while it's playing. Whatever. But sorry, I'm distracted. Thinking. What concerts have you gone to?
Me, it's been a while. Who did I see recently? Sorry, I'm looking chat. I saw the Pixies before.
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm trying to think, most of because I grew up in the punk scene, so I went to lots of like small shows. I'm trying to think. No one made it big, so knowing that cool. But I still like the Rolling Stones and stuff.
Really?
I recently traveled to Jazz Fest in New Orleans.
You
There's, like, a lot of
went?
bands there.
Did you see the clarinet player? Fuck, what's her name? I keep forgetting it.
Oh, I don't think so though.
Oh my god!
'Cause
Yes.
I feel like that would ring a bell if I saw a clarinet player.
New Orleans. I think it's like Dorothy. No, Doran. Doran? Clarinet. She's so well known. She like played for. No, that's the name of the place. Not clarinet. Doreen. That's what it is. Doreen. She played for like John F. Kennedy and shit. She's insane. Insane. Jazz is cool. Do you have fun?
I honestly kind of hate jazz, but it was fun.
Really?
That was another family thing. I saw Neil Young with my dad. It was a bonding experience.
No way. Wait, that's so cool. I think that's.
Oh, we're like really close to the front too. It was pretty sick.
See, I'm not a huge fan of jazz either, but I know that jazz players are some of the best musicians. Like drumming it, like it's like so.
Have you ever
fun.
seen Whiplash?
No.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. You got to watch it.
What's it about?
Without spoiling it, it's a very stressful movie about a guy in like a Juilliard type school for drumming, and he basically is a drill instructor teacher who's semi-abusive. Oh no, very abusive. I'll just say that.
I feel like I have seen this. When did it come out?
2014, so 10 years ago. Got some Oscars, I think.
Could he read music?
There's a scene where he struggles too, and
I know the movie. I think
yeah, that's the one.
Good. I think about that movie. I think about that particular scene. That's interesting. It's called Whiplash.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you gone to festivals?
I don't like a
Sorry,
couple. Which before I go back to festivals, but because I don't love jazz, but like the way they edit the music scenes in that, it's like almost like punk rock. It's very intense, and they do a great job of portraying it. But festival, I've gone to a couple, but I've never did the whole EDM thing, where you do a bunch of drugs and go party.
No, but I like Warped Tour or something, or what's that?
I did a Warped Tour, but I was 11 years old.
Oh, that sucks. Or I guess it's still fun.
Warped so it was Alien Ant Farm and 311, whatever is popular in 2001.
I literally was a makeup artist assistant and had 311 in my chair. They're good. I only like one song by them, if I'm being honest, but they're kind of to me, that's like acid, drug, weed vibes.
Weed music for sure. Yeah. 90s weed music for sure.
Yeah. Do you like Radiohead?
Yeah, definitely some songs. I've not spent a ton of time listening to it, but
yeah,
they're good.
I feel like, what's that guy's name? Jack White? Jack White?
The guy from the White Stripes?
Yes, and Meg is on the drums and plays the one drum beat for every song. Love her. But I went to I forget what festival. I feel like you would like him. And he, just randomly, I'm just saying it, but he plays the banjo now. Do you know that?
Not that I know he does a bunch of weird stuff. And he's a record label that does a lot of weird experimental stuff.
Yeah, it's weird. Jack White.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if I would be into it, but I guess as an artist, I appreciate what they do.
Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains. That is a band.
I want to ask you about your festival experience, but I feel you'll like this story. So I have a family member who is in the medical industry, and when the Grateful Dead was in New Orleans, they're the nurse on staff for Jerry Garcia because I guess he's diabetic, and so just in case they needed to have a doctor or nurse around.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And so I got to hang out backstage.
Nice. I've
Wait, what's your festival experience? I heard your burrito story.
Oh, that's the nightclub. I used to work as the, what do you call it? What do we call it? The private bar for festivals, where those celebrities were. So I've met a few, but Lollapalooza.
Was anyone a huge asshole?
Yeah. That really changed. Oh, it sucks. I don't even want to
Any
say
name
it.
names?
Yeah, I could, but like 9 Inch Nails were assholes. That like really fucked me up for a while.
Yeah, I like Trent Reznor. That sucks.
Josh Homme's really cool. With fuck, he's in a lot of shit. He has like 3 bands. Eagles of Death Metal. What's the fucking Little
Oh, that
Sister?
Is he the redheaded guy?
Yeah, he's so hot. He looks like a redheaded Presley. Little sister. Do you know the song? I feel like
Oh
it's
yeah,
always
another one.
on.
Oh yeah, one concert I went to. Fuck, what's that band called? I saw Queens of the Stone Age live once. That was pretty
Queens
good.
of the Stone Age, yeah. He was very nice, Josh Homme. His kid was like running around. I was like,
That makes sense because he's like friends with Dave Grohl, and I heard he's like the coolest guy.
oh, we have like the same last name. He's so hot.
How is that hot? We have a similar last name.
No, he is. He's so good. He's so good.
I don't have that issue, but if anyone like is like similar to my mom's or my sister's name, I'm like, that's a turn off.
It's Grohl. My last name is Groh. Have you ever met another Grohl? No.
I guess if you get married, it's not a big difference.
Torrie Grohl. Have you seen what's the band? Tame Impala? Do you like Tame Impala? It's
do.
very different than what you've been saying.
I like some of their songs, but I've not seen them live
Lucidity?
or anything.
I saw them. They were bad live, but it was like the first time they were ever live. I saw D Antwoord. That was fun. Die Antwoord, whatever. South African rap group. They've been in a lot of controversy, but
This is a very much not as popular as those bands, but I was in a really shitty punk band when I was in high school called the SB.
the SB?
Yeah, it stood for the Stinky Butts, but that was too controversial. We couldn't use that. We wouldn't get booked.
Really?
That's not a lie.
Wait, this is your band or a band that you listen to? Say that again.
No, this is a band I was in like.
Oh,
in
you
high
were
school.
in? No shit. What'd you play?
Drums. I was not very good.
I'm sure. Can you do like a double bass pedal? Because I can't. I always
I,
wanted
mean,
to.
I can play double bass pedal, probably not very well.
Yeah,
You should go.
I don't know. Trying to think. Who else that I've seen?
Have you
I
ever?
wanted. Huh?
Have you ever like been? Have you been inside like a mosh pit before?
I wanted
assume.
to. No.
Or you're like, no, that's too
Yeah, no.
crowd surfed. Ever do that? I know. I don't have to worry about getting groped if I do it. So
No, I've actually never done crowd surfing, come to think of it. I've had like a security guard pull me out of the fucking crowd before, but like literally I was like, how? And skinny dude just like dipped in, picked me up and pulled me out. But I wasn't like on the ground. I was like, what the fuck? It was weird. I'm trying to think. Ozzy, I really wanted to meet them. The whole crew was like back. They had a trailer and they were playing last. I met Sean White,
the snowboarder, skateboarder.
Yeah.
What's like the most starstruck you've ever been?
Josh Homme, for sure. Josh Homme. God, there's who else did I feel like I've met a lot.
Yeah, you met a lot of
Robert
people.
Plant.
I can't name that many people.
Yeah. Led Zeppelin. He was old, but like I think he's still old. But that was cool.
Still had it.
Yeah, he's still good. Who else?
Yeah, I've never really met any celebrities. Goddamn.
Really?
Like,
I
I'm trying to
just
think.
worked in an industry that you do, but like,
Well, like one time, not at my restaurant, I wasn't there, but like apparently Jason Momoa came in, but I was like, that was like before my shift. So I was like, oh, cool.
who is he again? Is he the
He's the
Aquaman dude?
Yeah, exactly.
I heard he's nice. I just don't remember where I
was-
heard that from.
I heard the same thing at my work. So seemed
Yeah.
like a nice guy.
You know who else I met who was really cool and really nice? I like don't own a TV, so forgive me. But what is it? Shameless? What was his fucking name? He played the gay guy on Shameless, and I think his name was David. He had like really light blue eyes and black hair. You know how
I
I'm
know the
talking?
show. I don't know the cast that
Or
well.
Riverdale,
I don't know their
maybe?
names.
Riverdale, I think it might be.
I've
Yeah,
been told someone told me I look like Lip before
lip. Let me see.
from Shameless. I think it's the guy who's now in the Bear.
Hold on, I gotta Google it. Oh yeah, kind of.
I've been told I look British a lot. I don't know why.
Can you do an accent?
No, I tried before. It's really bad. It's like, "Oi, governor."
Yeah, why you say it like that? I'm just kidding.
Dude, here. Well, I don't talk stuff, but I'm from the South, and I can't even do like a Southern accent very well. I say y'all occasionally, but I can't like do a really good Southern one.
Southern.
I'm stuck with the voice I got. I can't really do the impressions, unfortunately. It's not the comedy I was gifted with. More dry sarcasm.
Yeah. You could do an accent, you just don't try. Do a New York one. New York.
What is it?
I'm talking.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Yeah, so
I
you
can
could
only do
do it.
quotes.
You want to be friends? We're not going to be friends. Or whatever the fucking Wolf of Wall Street thing is.
Hey, depression, what's that?
That was okay. I think you could do better. Do it again.
Well, I need practice. Can I not do this on stream? I need to like do this in
Yeah.
a mirror alone.
Okay,
for, like,
next
a half hour.
time you get on stream.
I'll come here with all my impressions.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's somebody really big that I've met, and I cannot think of who it is.
Music or actor?
I don't know. It's a
Politician?
Oh, I smoked a blunt with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, that's pretty fucking cool. Dang.
It was my only goal.
That's a bucket list thing.
I didn't inhale it, but I just wanted to be able to say that I could do that. No wonder I forgot. It's like the one thing I wanted to remember to be like, yes, smoked with them. T-Pain, not T-Pain. What's his name? What he was in the news because he was like, he checks his daughter's hymen. What was that?
Not T-Pain.
Why
Another
can't
T person? Oh, The Game? He knows The Game.
No, it's not the game. Oh my god.
T.I.?
T.I. I was
I
the
was trying to think
cocktail
of
waitress for his
2000s rappers.
Yeah. I've met a lot of rappers just because the clubs that I worked at had contracts with them. Like Fetty Wap, Chance the Rapper. I met who's the really tall one? I always talk about him. He's so nice.
I'm really out of loop. I do not know modern rap at all.
Have you seen the video of the rapper and there's a woman that's like sign languaging it and she's like vibing? Do you know the video?
I don't know if I saw that one, but I've seen a couple funny sign language videos.
Whatever rapper that is. Fuck, I can't think of it. Oh, damn it. Scott Disick. That guy.
I'm sorry, I'm curious about Snoop Dogg. Did he have like a whole crew with him? Like, it wasn't just you one-on-one smoking with him.
Yeah,
right?
no, it was at my job. I told the owners and the managers, I was like, I have one goal. Pull me from the bar so I can just. And they're like, okay, we'll pull you when it's time. Oh,
You
Griffin, the DJ. I really liked him for a minute. And I met him. Pauly D.
DJ Pauly D from Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
More
What's
than
he
one.
like?
Friendly dude. Friendly. Tiesto. That was cool. They've all been friendly for the most part. I fell on Chance. That was so embarrassing. Like, not on him, but like in front of him while he was trying to like leave his table. And I was trying to go to mine. And I'm just walking with my head down because I'm shy. And there was like a French fry, something on the floor. And I fucking face planted, like not in a sexy way. like where everybody would like came around, like, are you okay? And I'm like,
Lost your traction.
What? I lost my
traction. Yep.
Yeah, I was walking.
You know those the fancy shoes like with those weird bottoms for the greasy floors.
We had to wear like heels, like 4-inch ones. Yeah.
On your feet all day, that's gotta be the worst.
Yeah, yeah. And
Thank God I'm a guy. Jesus Christ.
yeah, yeah, it sucks, especially if you have to wear them behind the bar. It's just like, ugh. Sometimes I'll get away with like taking them off and then putting them on if the owner comes by. But
Do you have any hot takes on the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar debate?
last time I like, has there been any new music since? Are they still dropping hit pieces?
I've not paid attention in a while. Honestly, I didn't really. I had a very cursory glance at that, but
Well,
I
I've
thought since
been
you
saying
see more in the loop than I do, so I thought you might have
well,
some takes.
like I remember it was a very well-known thing, allegedly. Drake has played in the nightclubs, and I for a long time was under the impression, based on what people were saying, that he was, which it doesn't matter, but that he was gay or bisexual or something. And so when Kendrick was kind of like pushing that shit, it's just like I thought that was well-known knowledge. So that was
I think I've
kind
heard
of
that
crazy.
rumor.
Yeah, I wouldn't like, it was a rumor, but I don't remember how it was verified. I don't remember if he wasn't like caught hooking up with somebody, but I remember like somebody said, don't say that in front of him if like you're near him. I ended up bartending at a different club anyway. And I'm like, say what? And they're like, cause he's gay. And I'm just like, what the fuck did I say? Like, I don't remember, but something that I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
When people come in like that, do they give you like a list of things you can't do like that? Or is that
No,
just like a verbal
no,
thing?
no. Like literally, that was the only time I ever heard something like that. Maybe they were just like drunk. I don't know. Maybe they were like, because that person was calling them by their name, and I have friends that like they're decently well known, and there's something that they hate is when like people from the outside will say, yeah, I'm like friends with Aubrey, or like uses their name, and like they're clearly not friends, but that one person tries to like name drop them and shit. Like that, it was like a situation like that. So I was just like, okay. I was like 21 anyway, so I don't know.
So it seems like you're like into some EDM stuff. Do you like going out and like hanging out in clubs with like loud music like that? I can do it, but it's not my favorite environment to hang out at. I'd much rather like go to like a dive bar or something like that.
Yeah, I just like to bartend it. So it's like
Makes
I don't
sense.
think I would ever really go unless I was visiting another bartender, because we would do that when we worked at bars. We would like do promos by going to another bar and drinking and like hanging out and stuff. Like, would I do that in my off time? No, I don't think so. But working it is fun. I'd rather go like if it's a festival, like Lollapalooza is cool, because it's just there's so many different types of things, and it's so many different ages. I feel like if I were to go to an EDM thing now, I'd be hanging with a lot of really young people, which is fine, except that they're more reckless, and they like, I would hate to be in a situation where somebody took something that, because I wouldn't be taking anything, and kids just, you never know. But like, and then the adults with EDM just seem like they did too much blow in their youth, and now they're trying to make up for lost time. Like, those are the vibes. I don't think I would do it. I don't know.
I'm gonna assume you've done Molly before.
Once.
I think I've only done it once too. I wish I planned out more. How do I say this? I used to live in a city that had this. There weren't that many after hours clubs. There was like one, and I went there. Would go there usually 2 a.m. Sometimes I'd come home. Sun was coming up, and I ran into my weed dealer there, and he was like, "Yo, I got some Molly," and I was like, "I want it right now." And so I did. It was definitely fun. It was way more intense than I was expecting. But I just wish I
were prepared.
Maybe I'll do it again. But yeah, just kind of like, well, I guess I don't know. I'm gonna get off this again. I guess I'll do this now.
Yeah.
This is before fentanyl was like a big scare, so I don't know if I would do that now. Also,
yeah, I don't know, because it's like, I don't know. Whenever the economy's down, I feel like it's not a good idea. I feel like they're filling shit, and I don't know. I guess I had a friend pass away from heroin, so like like Narcan. Used to have it on me. I never touched that stuff, but I had it on me just in case. You never know at like a nightclub. You really never know. And so, but I luckily never had to use it. But I don't know, fentanyl, it's like, I don't know if I would recognize it on somebody. Apparently they're very similar, but I don't know, like how you revive them. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I don't know. I should probably know that, but
Yeah, like I have no idea.
I've had some people that have dealt with heroin before, but that's one drug I will never say yes to.
Yeah.
Or it's way too good.
Yeah. But she started doing it when she was like 18. So that's another reason. It's actually kind of, well, it doesn't support anything, but it's like, should we really allow 18-year-olds to date like really old men? If like they're more likely to do drugs, it's like if they're not making the right decision, should we look at their past behavior or something? I don't know.
Great segue. The only thing is the alternative is like dating a young man, which is also maybe not the best choice to be doing.
Yeah. I just think I wouldn't want to jade a young man, you know? Like I think about it, I'm like, would I date a young guy? And it's like, no, I think I would jade him, you know? And I don't know why guys don't think that way.
Why do you think you would have that effect?
Me?
Yeah, and just because you're the nature of like you being older, or something about you in particular?
Just like probably things about me that I don't even notice about myself, like attitudes. I just, when you're young and like you have the whole world ahead of you, and it's like when you're around people that, like I'm looking for somebody that realizes like life is just life. We're taking it. It's like when you're younger, you see all these opportunities and you're so excited, and it's like, yeah, I would just kind of I feel like it would be wrong. You got to let them figure it out. And then, I don't know.
I feel like you're right. I also feel like there's this new wave of like really young doomers. Actually, this is kind of a tangent, but you mentioned this earlier that you kind of thought about that you don't want to have kids. Maybe it's just my bubble, but I notice a lot of women, especially these days, don't want to have kids for a couple reasons. Do you mind explaining your thought process? If not, that's okay.
What do you hear that other women say, like why they don't want to have kids?
So I'll go one of my previous relationships. She did not have kids just because they had a pretty negative worldview, and just like they didn't see the world going in a negative direction. They were very into politics. They didn't like where they're kind of seeing the direction going, and they kind of just like felt bad that like if they would bring someone into this world, it would like kind of have negative consequences for the individual. If that makes sense.
But you don't want to raise a Karen, right? It's like they have to have a little hardship. I feel like is that like the same thing as like, I don't want to bring people into this world because it's a fucked up world. It's like, come on, they don't raise a Karen. They gotta go through some shit.
Also, I'll be honest. They also had like depression. I think they're worried it might be genetic and they might pass it on. And
yeah,
I've always been like a really optimistic person, so it's really hard for me to understand that view.
I guess women just have higher levels of negative emotions or neuroticism. So some people don't have issues day to day, and then other people have more, and probably trying to. I don't blame them. I don't know. Kids are a lot.
Do you think people should have more kids these days?
Yeah. The right people.
I do. Do you know the film Idiocracy?
No.
Oh, you should watch it. It's very what's the word? Prescient, like very forward looking. It was made in the mid 2000s. It's about. I won't spoil it because you should watch it. It's about a guy who gets like frozen by accident, and he wakes up like 1,000 years later. And the premise is everyone's dumber because over the course of time, dumber people had way more kids than the smart people, because the smart people would like wait, No, but no, not now. It's not the right time where the idiot down the street is like having kids without even trying.
Yeah.
And over time, the society becomes a bunch of dumbasses, and it's about this guy navigating this society.
See, I feel like I don't think when I say that like the right people should have kids, I'm not even talking about intelligence. I feel like half the battle is really wanting them and just really want because it's going to be hard, you know, like you need those, like if you don't want the kids and in those hard moments, like I don't think I would cope with it well. But the people that do want the kids and really want to be parents, it like carries them through. And then like I don't know. I feel like having kids for some people really changes them for the better. So I'd have to watch this movie. It's trying to navigate like a stupid society. How stupid are we talking?
The movie is a comedy, but what's crazy is like how forward looking it is. Where like every year it's like, what? Wait, is this the track we're on? Like,
damn. That's a good question for like what if we didn't have, this is a hardcore take and I'm jumping, but like, what if we only appointed really smart people, like smart, philanthropic, however you say it, like humanitarian people to like be in charge of governments and stuff. Like, I just think like, I don't know. That wasn't really related, but I keep thinking about this topic. I don't know what it's called.
I don't know about philanthropically focused specifically, but I think there's ideas like that. Like I've heard like technocracy or whatever, where like basically like scientists have a board and they run the government because they're using
that's
science.
a thing.
Yeah, and it has its flaws, but it's an interesting worldview, I guess. I mean, I don't know if it's actually ever been practiced, but it's like in theory.
Yeah, but with power and humans, I don't think we'd ever be capable of having perfect, like non-biased anything. It's not like I don't have faith in them. I think, you know, there's faith in it. I think we're too flawed to do it in the most equal or fair way, if you will. I don't know. Or in the right way.
So. Apparently technocracy was big in the 1920s and 30s. And yeah, I think it's like an interesting thought process, but yeah, it would never actually work in reality because as always, there's problems when you kind of reduce people to numbers. And yeah, nowadays there's also an agreement on science. So
see, I don't know that much about politics, so when I have these ideas, it feels like it just like it's probably algorithms or something, but it's like it feels like it just comes naturally. I'm like, what is it though? Like, what's technocracy? It's just scientists like that are appointed.
Have you ever heard of like the concept of like a benevolent dictator?
No, actually,
so, like,
maybe once. Benevolent.
So, like most dictators that we know have a lot of negative connotations because they did a lot of fucked up negative shit. But in theory, you could have a dictator that wants to just make society better. What if this is just thought process? What if Bernie Sanders became king and he was running things? I feel like maybe in my heart he would probably make a society that's better for everyone, not just for himself. But there's obviously problems with that. I'm pro democracy, but it's an interesting way to think about it. Like, what if you like had a king that where the power wasn't corrupted and they actually just made the people better? Because there is some pain points with all the red tape that democracy has, but that's why it's good.
Yeah, I don't really like believe in the concept of good evil. So it's like if they do good, it's like what's good, right? Like a slippery slope. I don't think it would ever. I think that's why even the good leaders or even the bad leaders did good shit. Like people can point out, oh, they were doing this and that. And it's like, yeah, people didn't really realize how bad they were until later. Makes you wonder. Like, I think if we got rid of praise, failure, good, evil, that we could probably have a pretty good leader in that regard. But
I don't think I believe in evil. But I do think there are some things that are like inherently bad, and I could see an argument for dictatorship always being that, even if it's if it's a benevolent dictator, just sometimes you can't use the ends justified means, you know?
It's just like, I don't know. Like, when I say I don't believe like good evil, it's almost like if people, it's the deterministic shit. It's like if people don't have control, what's the point
I
of
agree on that.
praising and shit? It's like it becomes irrelevant. So it's like when I say like do good in a sense as a leader, it would be following like some sort of rule book, but it doesn't matter how you feel about it. It's like way in the future. Like sometimes when I think about this concept, I think of AI as like the mediator, something like that.
I've heard, and I actually heard Mr. Earl talk about this first, where I think I might be right, where AI is going to lead to a very pervasive, how do I call it? It's going to get rid of all privacy because we're going to just say, okay, we can actually have cameras everywhere now because it's not a human looking at it. It's just an AI that really doesn't have a soul looking at it. And then if it's not really important, we can kind of throw it away.
Oh my God, I
kinda make sense?
literally just wrote about privacy and like AI on my Substack. That's crazy. What's the name
Like
of this person?
Oh, Mr. Girl, you don't know them?
No.
I don't know if I would recommend looking into them. They're a little unhinged, but they have some interesting viewpoints.
Yeah, I say like in order for like the generation younger, in my opinion, to adapt in this world before like social media really affects them negatively mentally and shit. Oh, this fucking fly. They would have to eradicate the concept of privacy because like I think about young kids growing up on technology, and when you're young, like you want to be cool, so you like fib a little bit. You're like, oh, I do that, but they don't. You know, you grow out of it, right? But and it's like in order to like because it's so rapidly being posted and retweeted and stuff, it almost seems like it makes the most sense to have almost full transparency. What does that look like? I don't know if it would look like you could log into our house on a public thing like reality TV. I don't know what it would look like, but it seems like every time there's an issue, it comes down to privacy. I don't know. That didn't make sense.
No, I think I got some of that. I do think it's kind of terrifying, though, but I definitely could see being applicable in some scenarios. One scenario that they were kind of talking about has like, so right now you can't really have a camera in a bathroom for safety reasons, but AI could enable that because a human's never looking at the footage that's captured. It's just kind of, or it's all interpreted by AI, and if something bad happens, then it can kind of call it out, and maybe that's safe or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas before, that would be really unacceptable because no, we can't allow a human to be like watching the CCTV footage. So yeah, I wonder. I could see go. I think it's definitely going to lead to less privacy. I hope that does not encroach like our personal spaces because that definitely gets very 1984-esque.
Yeah.
Phones are listening or to us already. True.
There's a lot of countries that already kind of don't have privacy. I always think like they talk about China. I don't know how much it's just like blown up in the media and stuff, but they had something like they can track you if you jaywalk and you get a ticket right then and there. Like they just they have your face, and it's like that sounds scary. It does, but it can also be really like that can help increase national security and stuff. So it's like, I don't know. But then you have people that have bias, like cops, for lack of nuance right now. Okay. Just, I know PTSD and I know it can make you act erratically without like judgment, whatever. And so it's like, when it comes down to it on like a enforcement level in regards to like community, I don't know, local police, whatever. It's like, I don't know how good I want like them to be able to just seize and search. Like, I don't know what you call it. I don't know.
I was gonna say something and I totally forgot.
Sit with it. You might come up. I'll shut up.
What was the first part that you talked about? That might jog it.
The jaywalking in China where they could scan your face, kind of like a biometric meter.
That did help. So are you familiar with Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank?
No.
Okay. Yeah. No, also on the show you watch, Shark Tank, very entertaining, not super educational. But I don't know if this is true. But he was on the news and he's talking about the protests that were having it at schools about Israel Palestine, and he was saying like all those people that are protesting, their faces are on camera, and like they're gonna be their future job prospects are gonna be ruined because their faces are gonna be logged somewhere, and we're gonna know like, hey, you were at this dumbass protest. Even the people that wearing masks, he's like, we're gonna see your eyes, we're gonna know who you are, and when you apply to my company, I'm gonna be like, no. Wow. I don't know if they actually have the technology yet, but the implications are scary.
I didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, because you can be. I'll be honest. Most of the when I was that age, I was kind of dumb. I think most of the people doing that are not super educated, don't really know what they're protesting. So
they think like, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I won't get in trouble. They really don't see implication. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Rococo Basilic? I don't know if I say it right. No. Okay, hold on. Rococo. Maybe I shouldn't tell you, actually. It's a moral dilemma. Hold on.
I'm already Googling it, so.
Yeah, it's a thought experiment which states that an otherwise benevolent artificial and superintelligence in the future would be incentivized to create a virtual reality to torture anyone who knew of its potential but did not contribute to its advancement. You kind of have to watch a video where it explains it better.
I was like, that sounds complicated.
Yeah, it's like pick a box. I forget how they stated it. It's like you pick one. It's like, okay. It's like, okay, but if you would have picked this one, I forget.
I'll watch like an hour-long YouTube video about it and I'll come back.
I want you to pull up a video of the guy you were just talking about. With the
let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I want to go smoke really quickly. You can carry the team.
I can talk to chat while you do that.
Okay. Are you going to pull up the video? I'll watch it on my phone while I'm out there.
I'll see if I can find it. There's a lot of content on this guy, so it might be hard to find this particular clip.
That's okay. Take your time. I mean, what's his name again?
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful. That sounds really creepy. I don't know. So it's
he's kind of. Wendell has a lot of context. Yeah, he's kind of like a grifter where he made a bunch of money in the 90s and like software, and now he's like on Shark Tank trying to like.
Yeah, I remember.
He makes really bad deals, and he like says he's like super famous, but like then you go to his Instagram and he's got like 5 followers.
No way.
That's exaggeration, but he like is constantly saying like, "Oh yeah, you should advertise on my social media." Then you go there, and he has like no engagement.
Kevin O'Leary. This fucking fly. Mr. Wonderful.
Ooh, I think I found a Fox News article.
Ooh. Tori, don't let your beer go hot. Joke's on you. The beer's been open since the other day. Like,
oh yeah, I guess I just send you this video. I put it in private chat.
Oh, you don't have authority? Maybe I can. Maybe I can.
I can press that. Never mind. I was wrong.
Yeah, I was like, huh. I see it. Do you see it?
I think you have to add to the stage. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we just play this while you are smoking?
Yeah. How long is it?
5 minutes.
I might be like 10 if I go fast.
I'll pause it and react.
Okay. You're the best.
Yeah, I can do this. Grace, this is how I got my job. Grace left the stream and I took it over. Now I'm doing the same thing on...
You're so good at this. I want to learn from you because you're like really good at transitioning and stuff. But let me take myself off and let you go.
Type the comments where I can get them. I am very new to this, but I do appreciate the love. Thank you to chat also. Thanks for watching me. Again, I'm doing more shout out before I react to this content. Go follow the process. I'm still trying to figure it out. I think I'm going to do some panels. I do some reactions. I think I'm kind of funny. I think I'm going to be hosting an E-Date show on Thursday on Grace Thorpe's or Thorpe TV stream. So watch me, follow me. It's gonna be good content. This is a rising star coming out of the ashes. I'm just starting, and I got like 30 followers. You could be in the first 50. All right, let's get right into it. Let's see. Okay, I want to admit my biases. I'm a little left leaning, so News Nation, Fox News, not my favorite sources, but I do like to get a diverse range of sources. So let's see what Kevin O'Leary has to say.
But Kevin, I want to start with you because we've talked about this from all sides right here over the last 2 weeks or so. And I'm wondering, Kevin, as these students at Columbia University, some of them escalate and escalate and escalate to the point that we saw a building commandeered overnight and that flag that was flown from one of the main halls there at Columbia, how these students should be treated, Kevin, when they hit the job market. Of course, every student's not involved with this, and I'm not suggesting that. But when companies get a job application, a job resume on their desk, and it says Columbia, what should happen next?
So I teach a lot at colleges and universities, and we talk about this even before this all started. You're building a personal brand today on social media. Everything you do, everything you post, every image of you that is filmed remains in perpetuity on your.
I don't know if this is intentional, but he's cutting off like a threat. That's how I'm kind of reading this. He's like, hey, better watch out. And hey, I'm all for being cautious about what you post on social media, but I think he's kind of like saying, even outside of social media, you are not safe. So just coming off a little bit ominous. I don't know.
Social media. Everything you do, everything you post, every image of you that is filmed remains in perpetuity on your file. And that matters to you because 2 or 3 years from now, when this is all over and you're asking someone to hire you, I don't care where you want to go in life, at some point you're going to need a job. I'm an employer. I hire thousands of people. Each one is an individual decision. We do background checks on everybody. And we go back dark and deep. That's what every employer does now. These are agencies that you pay for. It's very important to know what your brand is, what you represent, what you did, and what you say. I want to see these things match up on your resume. Now, if I see images of you anywhere, it doesn't have to be Columbia, it could be anywhere, burning a flag or fighting with police, I'm not saying you don't have the right to do that. That's democracy, that's free speech.
But I ain't hiring you. That's definitely what he's going to say. Interesting. I wonder, because hey, it's an American right to protest. I don't know why Kevin Leary is so against that. I can see, the I'm a capitalist. I want business people to do what they want. But he seems pretty anti-protest. It's his business. He can decide who he employs or not. But he seems to be coming here like with intention, saying like, "Hey, just protesting is inherently not good, and you can't work for my company if you do so." Also, I want to shout out Michael Burns. Thank you for the new subscriber. You're the best.
But that file goes over here. And then I go to the left and I look at the next one. Maybe someone else isn't burning a flag, isn't fighting with police, and is just as good as you are.
Well, this is where I might need some more knowledge. Are they really doing that thorough a background check for employees? Maybe if it's like an executive level, I could see that. Maybe they might go back. They might go back, try to see if you have any videos of you fighting cops. But I think for like oh damn! But I'm getting audio messages. I don't even know where it's coming from. Thank you, Michael Burns, for the description. Sorry, just going back. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, but if you're like one of the entry level employees, the company's really doing that thorough of a background check. That's where I'm not sure I completely buy it.
What about Columbia students, though, Kevin, who aren't involved?
Say that again?
What about Columbia students who are not involved in the protest?
No, I treat them with the same respect, and I say, who are you? What do you represent? What does your background check look like? I don't care what institution you came from. I care, can you do the job? Where do I put you in my organization? And if your background check clears and you tell me who you are and it matches your background check, I'll hire you.
You did not get, you were telling me, because you were the spokesperson for the Trump, Aaron Perini, Trump spokesperson for the Trump 2020 campaign. You didn't get jobs because you were associated with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So I wonder what you think the right recourse here is as it relates to
I
Columbia.
actually think Kevin O'Leary hit the nail right on the head there. It's more about what you represent, what you have said, what you have done, and where all of that matches up. Do a background check. Look at these individuals thoroughly, but don't just lump them all in because they go to Columbia or they go to a university that has.
All right. My bias might be coming out, but I guarantee all these people are anti-cancel culture. And it sounds really stupid hearing this come from them. I guarantee they've been complaining about that. And now it sounds like they're pretty okay with canceling other people they don't agree with. But if it's someone else, that's the issue. That's where I disagree. I think it's pretty hypocritical. I make my biases known. I'm left-leaning, but in my 2 weeks on YouTube, I've had a lot of discussions with people on all sides. I'll let them know when I disagree, but I wouldn't go ahead and go to the extent I feel like they are. I think Torch is having some internet issues, so you're stuck with me for a little bit longer.
As large protests like this, because doing that, you are punishing people who have done nothing wrong.
Okay. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House today, he spoke on this issue, or really campuses and what we're seeing around the country writ large, and here's what he had to say.
And if they don't correct this quickly, you will see Congress respond in kind. You're going to see funding sources begin to dry up. You're going to see every level of accountability that we can muster.
Got any issue with going after the funding?
Yeah, because all that does is actually push universities to respond in a way that I think just.
Sorry, I need to hear that one more time. What fund are they going after?
Johnson, Speaker of the House today, he spoke on this issue, or really campuses and what we're seeing around the country writ large, and here's what he had to say.
And if they don't correct this quickly, you will see Congress respond in kind. You're going to see funding sources begin to dry up. You're going to see every level of accountability that we can muster.
Got any issue with going after the funding?
Yeah, because all that does is actually push universities.
Here's where also I'm uneducated. It sounds like they're mad at Columbia for enabling the protest in some way. I gotta be honest, I don't know much about that. If you want to take a break after the video, go ahead. Torch is letting her dogs out. We got a little bit longer.
Universities to respond in a way that I think disrupts students' First Amendment rights. If you look at colleges that are largely funded by endowments, for instance, if you are.
I will say, because I have seen like cringe videos of student protests, like blocking students from going to their classes. Not the best look. I think it's kind of. All right, why is it inherently bad? Again, I take this all with a grain of salt because in college is the time to do and be dumb. You're brand new, being an adult. You're figuring everything out. You're taking on lots of new opinions. I feel like there needs to be some level of being able to make and say dumb stuff. Obviously, when you get into damage, that's where it gets a little bit hard. But I do think we have a long history of protests, even to the extent of sometimes damaging government buildings. And I think some of that should be allowed, but it is a fine line. Also, yeah, well, man, 22. Yeah, I think, and also I've seen some interviews with the protesters. I don't really understand what their goals are. Again, I think they don't know that because they're not necessarily the most informed. I think I know a lot of them want to not see the U.S. support Israel. I don't know how protesting at a college really gets them there. I think they mostly just want to be seen because they feel like they're not being heard.
Are to pull said funding from that school, we're going to see more of those universities, push these very problematic and anti-free speech policies on their college campuses. First and foremost, I think that it matters for us not to lump all students together, as what you just said, because I do think that there are some instigators who come on college campuses, and we've seen those people removed. By and large, these are peaceful protests. So to quell student voices, and this isn't new. We saw student protests in the and we've seen those people removed. By and large, these are peaceful protests. So to quell student voices.
Wait, did they just kind of go against their own point? They say these are mostly peaceful protests. So if that's the case, is it that big of an issue?
We're going to see more of those universities, push these very problematic and anti-free speech policies on their college campuses. First and foremost, I think that it matters for us not to lump all students together, as what you just said, because I do think that there are some instigators who come on college campuses, and we've seen those people removed. By and large, these are peaceful protests. So to quell student voices, and this isn't new. We saw student protests in the 60s. We've seen student protests in this country over and over and over again. The reaction here is a lot.
Nothing changes at Columbia unless you go after the money, right?
Absolutely. And I actually think the private sector and high donors are going to matter much more than even the federal dollars, because that's going to be very difficult. And we know it's never going to pass the Senate. But the private donors that said they were taking their money out of Harvard and now Columbia and various other universities, that's going to hit them more than anything else.
I mean, I think ultimately, no.
I don't really care about that because I think a lot of colleges have way too much money, especially the big ones like Harvard and Columbia. So I will not be upset to see their endowment funds go down a bit. Could be for the best, honestly. I won't disagree, Matt. I do agree. Colleges are very left-leaning, and there are some anti-free speech issues there. All right, that's it for this video, though. Let's just hang out, chat for a bit. Agreed, Miguel. Thanks, Miguel. You seem really cool. All right, I'm just checking on the Thorpe TV stream. Looks like Lalo and Grace are hanging out.
Did the video go away? I didn't think you would be able to.
Oh yeah, I just stopped sharing.
Oh, I didn't know you can. I'm not good at. You already know this stuff, and I don't. I'm embarrassed.
Like that part's not that complicated. Just hit one button. Well, wait. Are you on stream mode on your phone?
I was in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Why was it coming through?
No, I just wondered because of the vertical, if like that's a computer or how that works.
Yeah, they just started doing verticals a couple months ago, and it pushes your content out on the shorts shelf or whatever, so you can grow better. What was I? Do you want to react to this whatever debate? I totally forgot. That was what I was going to do.
I definitely do, but any takes on the video I was reacting to?
It just seems like a little bit of a radical reach on his end. I don't know. Do you think, I mean, it's not that it's not true. It's just like, why does he care?
No, I said this in the beginning because honestly, I don't think that technology is fully there. And I think so they're not, entry-level employees are not going to vet that hard. So I feel like they're really, Kevin Lear is trying to make a message with it, like almost like as a threat, like, hey, watch out.
Because he's like a business owner. You think he knows some shit?
No, actually, I don't think he is actually has as much influence as he's pretending to. So
yeah,
I don't know if his goal is just to get young people to stop protesting, and this is the way he thinks to go about it. So I don't really get it.
Maybe he's going senile.
Although he also is a huge like clout shark, so maybe he just thought like, oh, maybe I'll just go hot take on the news and I'll get some publicity, and it kind of worked.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. It's just that, like, I don't know. I never really talk about like politics and stuff. Protesting's allowed. I know something happened recently, not like January 6th, not that shit, but like the fucking somebody was trying to peacefully protest before the Palestine thing. I forget what it was though, and they got in trouble. Did you hear about maybe that rings
I
a
don't know
bell.
about that case.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not super read up, or there's so much to read. I don't fully understand the whole Middle East thing. I'll just say that.
There's a good explanation of it, a YouTuber. But I think it's on a podcast site. Not again, Loci. I can't keep bringing you out, bitch. It takes her so long to get on the bed, and then when I see her like getting down again, I'm like, God damn it. But what was I saying?
Something
Fuck.
with the Middle East, but I say let's not.
Oh yeah.
Let's pivot.
Let's pivot. Yeah. Okay, so the whatever thing. What's your take on like feminism? We can start there.
I think I identify as a feminist. I always had to ask what people mean by it because so many people have their own version of it. But using the definition of we want men and women to have some level of equality, keeping in mind equity, I'm for that.
See, I'm for like I think men should have equal rights to women and stuff. I just don't think that using something like feminism would equal it. I think it's counterproductive to what they want to do, but it's like a hot take. I think that with a lot of groups. I'm just trying to think of another example. Oh, yeah. Like anytime that you want to give, like I understand people come from different backgrounds, so you have to like try to make up for it in some regard, in some sort of government, whatever. I'm telling you, I don't do politics, but I just took my meds, so hopefully in a minute I'll be like perked up. No, I'm just kidding. But no. I guess like my determinism or deterministic view is just like if you give people or try to make up for the parts where they lack, you're never going to meet the end goal of like equality, I guess. You want to ask me and maybe I can elaborate.
Well, and I think this is where some people misunderstand. My interpretation of the goal is never to be completely equal. Like that's not the goal. It should be the interpretation. I think there's even like some research that says like the more freedom you kind of get, actually the less so that is where like maybe you might get more divergence between like what jobs they pick, for example. Sorry, sound like you're getting there.
No, you're fine. So then like, come on, Loci. Why does feminism exist?
As a reaction to the patriarchy.
Oh, really?
That's definitely part of the reason.
Yeah, I just like, do you think what do you think feminism, and it can be anywhere, it doesn't have to be the US, but like what do you think feminism is working towards specifically like this year? That wasn't like me being like sarcastic. I'm just asking. Wow. Come here, baby.
I don't know what's well, I would have hoped we would not deal with this, but there's a lot of issues with reproductive rights in America right now, specifically over the past couple of years. I'd say that's pretty relevant to feminism.
Do you think the birth control pill was good?
I do.
Yeah. You think so? You like the idea of family planning and
yeah, exactly for that reason. Yeah, I want people to have the power to decide.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's the worst thing, but I think low. Sorry, my dog's like kind of chunky, and so she's trying to get the actual peanut butter, and I can't give her anymore. She's gonna like, no, Lo, go to bed, babe. Hold on, let me just double check that she doesn't have to go to the bathroom again. Lo, hold on.
Hey, tomfoolery, I see you're watching. We should talk sometime. Let me interact with the chat. Yeah, who the fuck is Presto? I bet you're a real cool dude in real life. All right. Is there? Thanks to Fleur. I love to talk to you. I'm brand new to streaming. The Thorpes let me on their channel. I don't know what we're gonna talk about because I'm probably gonna agree with most of what you say, but it should be fun. I like watching your content. All right. What are we gonna do later? I think we're finally gonna actually watch this whatever podcast. React to some of that. I get watching the whatever podcast is so triggering because honestly, don't agree with anything Andrew Wilson says for the most part, but it's almost I feel like there's very rarely any good arguments actually used against him. The one part I really watched today was. Hey.
Sorry, I haven't been able to like really stream that long because my dogs are so needy. I gave her the peanut butter.
They were really noisy the last stream too. Have they been doing okay?
Yeah, they're just Dalmatians, so it's like I try to do as much as I can with them throughout the day, but then as soon as they see me doing something, they'll be fine. And then as soon as I get on camera, it's like, oh goddamn. But it's okay. If I have to end it, I will. But right now,
How many dogs do you have?
2. And then my parents.
One's not enough. Okay. It's not just you there. That'd be a bit much.
Honestly, like Lokai was really difficult because I didn't know she was deaf. She did a test and it said she wasn't, but then like we figured out she was deaf. And when dogs have hearing problems, it comes with like another set of issues on top of them being like a pretty crazy breed. But getting the second one actually made it a lot easier. It was like a last resort.
They hang out with each other and each other a little bit. I can see that.
Yeah. It's been great, but I wouldn't recommend that for like, it's got to be a last resort. I mean, Lokai went through like military training and shit, and she was still like psycho for a minute. She's fine now. She's fine, but she's annoying. She's not like biting a wall though. But anyways, feminism. So what do you think feminism has done recently or within like, I don't know, a couple of years that you think has been effective in their goal, whatever that is? There's many.
For women?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think if you look at the trajectory of women, they've been very successful there. I think they're in school more. Their placement in the workplace has improved a lot. Their placement in like the CEO level, executive level has improved a lot. I don't think we'll ever get to like 50-50 parity there. That's not my expectation. But I've been seeing all that increase a lot. I can actually so much see the argument where maybe feminism is not needed quite as much as it used to be, because it seems like they're gotten a lot closer as far as where men are at, and there's a lot more, I think, clear negatives for being a man than there was maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think like feminism is also good for men in the long run. So that's my take.
Oh yeah, they need help now. They need dual incomes. There's no getting around that if they were to get married or whatever. What do you think about marriage?
I can see why there aren't as many incentives to do it as a man, but
really,
yeah,
I think men have incentives. I don't think women do.
Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, I guess I meant for the most part, people don't have incentives to be married, but
in general, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about kids?
I can definitely understand why people are having less and less kids. The idea of having a home is way less achievable than it was. I can see people are waiting way later because they're just like not in a position where they feel prepared to do that quite yet. So I think that's all very understandable based on all the societal things that have been happening.
Do you think because we added like women to the workforce that it's contributing to some of the economic issues we have, or do you think we were just down? We were going down for a long time. Have you ever heard people talk about that?
I'm sorry, could you rephrase that question?
Yeah. Like when we put women in the workforce, when we put women in the workforce, you now have 2 people paying taxes. It's like another taxable identity. Do you think that, like, I don't know shit about economics. I'm being honest with you. So I'm just literally asking questions on shit that I hear in the space. But do you think that women have contributed to like the economy going to shit? Or do you think it was just like after the gold standard? Like, what are your views on how our economy is doing and shit?
Interesting question. I wouldn't necessarily put that to blame. That being said, because I've never done any research about this, I do wonder what the impacts were, because this is way more back in the 50s, but it used to be way more normal to have one person doing the income. I kind of grew up in the 90s where I feel like that was still pretty rare, even in the 90s, where a lot of, at least in my neighborhood, a lot of parents had to both have jobs, weren't rich enough to like only one had to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, see, my mom stayed at home, and like I thought all moms did for a while until I moved to the suburbs. I was like, oh shit, like they work. I didn't think that was a thing yet. Low. Hold on.
And that might be my bubble, because my mom. Well, I'll keep talking, chat. My mom did stop working, but it was kind of after my brother was diagnosed with autism. We kind of realized, we kind of need someone to like take a little bit more care of him. But before that, my parents were like both working. I don't know if that would have been the case otherwise, but because I'm trying to think, I had some rich friends, but maybe it was like 50-50. I can't remember what the amount was. I remember as a kid though, like asking, like I remember going to a friend's house. Like, so this is like after like 3 p.m. or 4, and it's like parents weren't home yet because they're both at work. And I was like, oh, is that a normal thing? So maybe it's just my bubble. It's kind of interesting. I feel like it's very all over the place, but that's kind of how my mind works. So hopefully it seems to make semi sense. What means simply how have we fallen? If you send your woman to a job, she's never going to respect you. Yeah, I don't believe that.
What does your mom do?
So I was saying this on stream. My mom used to be a nurse, but when my brother was diagnosed as autistic, pretty severely, she kind of had to step out of that and take more of a at-home mom role.
Oof, that's a lot of work.
It was very stressful.
Underrated for sure. Damn.
Especially in the 90s, because we didn't really understand autism, or a lot of people didn't, especially other people. So like there'd be times like where my brother would be freaking out at a grocery store, and like people were like, "Oh, just learn how to raise your kid," and we're like, "No, that's not the issue."
They used to blame moms for I think autism and schizophrenia for a long time until research came out that I forget why they thought it was attributed to moms specifically. I can't remember, but yeah, we've done a lot of good with how we talk about autism, at least today. It's crazy that like anytime I see people or say anything like, where are the parents? Oh no, my audio, even with this piece, I just got new
just changed.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. It seems like we talk about it better now. Like don't touch that box. I'll never blame parents for when like their teenagers do crazy shit. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's instances, but like parents do the best they can for the most part. There's obviously nuance, but like I think we're always too quick to say that it's their cause from their parenting. Like oh no. Okay, relax.
You can answer this question when you're back, but I'm curious, if you ever had kids, so would you be like would you raise them more strict or less strict than your parents? Treat like as they treated you?
The same.
Interesting. I'm the opposite.
Really?
I had a little bit too much freedom as a kid. And maybe that's why I was like a punk kid that did a lot of bad shit. So I'm like, I don't want to say I'll go full hardcore, but I would if I had a kid, I would rein in the leash a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would be way too paranoid that something they do would like they're gonna develop schizophrenia. Like it's just like my worldview now. So I don't think I would. I think it would judge, like it would cloud my judgment. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I either would be like I've learned to just drop it now that I don't know if I would be the best parent. Like what if it's too ingrained. And so like I just don't even notice shit anymore, you know? I don't know. It's a good question.
We were just saying every parent's just trying the best they can, so you can't expect yourself to be perfect.
I don't think I'd be able to handle it again, to be honest with you. Like, I know we're talking hypotheticals, but like, it's like way. This has been a minute since I've actually like thought about that. But there was something that we were saying about feminism that I wanted to touch on.
You asked me about marriage.
Oh, the economy or whatever. About okay.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think?
I remember first I thought because I don't know the answer, but yeah, because I'd be curious to look into this. I wonder if there was an effect from it going from one income to dual income, because this is a lot of money entering the market.
And the jobs that we created. That's why I asked what your mom does. There's been a lot of discourse that women don't do useful jobs, and my counter to that is like women make up most of like healthcare. So if you think living is not that good, then I don't know what to tell you. But I'm assuming the argument back would be, well, men did it in the military or something. But they say if you have a female primary care physician, you live longer. There's less lawsuits on negligence and shit. I've seen a lot of different stuff. I don't know.
Interesting.
I just want women to be fulfilled, and I want men to be fulfilled. And with like the self-deletion rates, it's like, I wish we could figure out like an equation, you know. Sometimes I'm like, God damn it, it's just so layered. Babe.
This reminds me.
Sorry.
No, if you don't talk about it, it's okay. But I remember like seeing, because I looked at your TikTok where you were referencing some stuff about video games, and
with Destiny.
I do agree that video games. Yeah, I do agree with him that video games were made and marketed for men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if we talk about that at all.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly. I think he was saying something. Why were we talking about like socialization? Was that what it was? It's like we socialized.
See, I forget what like the context was,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like why are men more into video games now? And I think it's because previously in the past, or just like computer science, anything kind of related to that. I think it's because that was kind of, I don't know if marketed is the right word, but that was kind of pushed more toward men, or at least it was a lot more easier for men to pick up those hobbies compared to women.
Do you think it's because of like their biology or something, or their genetics, like what they're better at just historically? Oh, this is so pitchy.
I imagine that's somewhat a factor, but I also think there are like social pressures kind of dictating that stuff too.
Yeah. So what do we do?
It's still an issue now. Like where if you play any online game and you're like a woman and you use voice chat, you're going to get comments that you would not get if you were a man.
Yeah, we do. But I mean, I've only played like at friends' houses and stuff, but I feel like they give shit to the boys too. It's always a young guy that's like, you're fucking sucking your mom's dick. Like they're really mean. Is that what you're talking about?
That too, but it's like everything I see points to like, oh yeah, it would not be surprised that mostly men are going to be playing online games and there's going to be less women just because it's going to push more women out.
You know what's interesting that I just thought about? Literally, when I would play live, I would go down all the time, obviously, because I was new at it and didn't own it. But like, there's always somebody that would come and revive me all the time. Are they doing that because I'm a girl, or are they doing that so the game doesn't end, or both?
I mean, even in I think it's less of a thing now, but like in games like World of Warcraft, some people will use the female model because like people will treat them better, or like even get them like in-game gold and stuff, even if they're like a guy IRL.
That's actually a thing now, where like it's on a larger scale, where men will have girls that they imitate and like pretend that they're full-on girls because they like the attention they get from it or something. It's like a catfish, but there's another.
What are they doing on Instagram or something?
I don't know. I think Destiny talked about it before. It's like they create an entire like avatar. They talk like that. Like they talk like a girl. I don't remember if they used like a voice transformer or something, but something like somebody got caught using it and it was like shocking. I just don't remember. And it's like, why do you think that they're escaping to be a woman? And do you think those are the people that are really mean to women online? I don't think it would be. I don't know.
Yeah, that's gonna be what. I guess they want to be desired. That's what they're seeking.
Well, have you ever had a friend? Oh my God, this mic. Have you ever had a friend that would like, when you were a kid, pretend that they were somebody else and like flirt with you? Or is this just a female experience? There's always like one girl in the group who like.
What do you mean pretend to be someone else?
Oh, you've never heard of this?
This is not something I've recognized.
This fucking dog.
Do you mean like try to be someone else on AIM and then
yeah, like a whole new identity. Like they make like a new AIM account, maybe Facebook today. Loci. Hold on.
No worries. What's the thought process behind that? I wonder. Why would you create? I have heard stories of like this where like this is maybe more like cyberbullying, where I feel like a mom will like make a Facebook account just to like fuck with a friend's like daughter or an enemy's daughter. I'm like, that's shit's wild. That's some Facebook mom type shit.
Okay,
well, reality is hard. I got Adderall voice too, so hopefully you like me too.
What'd you say?
They're talking about Destiny's Adderall voice. I'm like, I got the same thing, so I hope you don't mind. What's I talking about before you left? Shit.
Why do friend groups that do the catfishing? Like there's
no.
So like a part of
never my personal experience.
Yeah, the female experience, you ask any girl, there's always one friend that like probably prior to the age of 12 would create like an entire identity and like make you fall in love with them and like all this stuff, and then you go to their house and find out that it's them by like logging into something, or I don't know. It sounds like I'm projecting, and I'm telling you this. It's like a meme.
Why do you think they do that?
And that's what I was going to get to. What would be the purpose for that? And in my experience, that girl was the one that introduced me to chat rooms, and her parents were strict as hell, but she was the one that like exposed me to the stuff that I shouldn't have been seeing. Like, oh, my dog, hold on. She's ready to come in. This bitch.
That's why you get cats, guys. I'm sure I don't have any pets. Not yet. I moved semi-recently. Yep. All right. Wait till you see me in a heated debate. I do go into hyperspeed mode. I need to work on it.
It's like, I'm so sorry. Okay. So you've never heard this. Why do they do that though?
I have heard of I've heard like moms like creating like fake Facebooks and like messaging or like bullying the daughter of or like a friend's daughter or something like that.
I can understand why that might happen. And it's a theory, but it's maybe jaded, but maybe because the dads are looking at her, like the daughters, and it's like
maybe not friend. I think it's like someone there's beef with the daughters, and like the mom's like, well, I'm gonna fucking cyberbully the enemy daughter.
I think it's jealousy. I think it's jealousy, and they don't even know that it's jealousy. Because aging for people that maybe relied on like the stuff that doesn't matter, being popular and hot and whatever, it's like maybe they're jealous. It sounds crazy, but there's moms that are jealous of their daughters. Why? It makes more sense that it would be the friend. I feel like that would be more common. Aging is a privilege, people. Okay.
Well, it feels not. It's not that different than like the Catfish show, because I watched a lot of that show growing up too, and a lot of those people are just like they're bored and like kind of just not. They're seeking something you don't have in their life.
So it's kind of like when you have maladaptive daydreaming, but you want to bring it to life a bit. You need more of a rush.
Yeah, I don't know how people get into that. You need a better hobby. It's like, yeah, my hobby is catfishing people.
Like lying. They like to lie. You could go to jail for catfishing. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know there was a law against that.
I know for a fact in terms of like, fuck, I think it was New Mexico. If you pretend to be somebody, I forget. It was something else. It wasn't like they scammed. Oh my God. It wasn't like they scammed them or anything. I can't remember what it was though. It was a huge case about it. It causes like, maybe it's like a civil suit. Maybe it's like emotional distress or something.
I wonder if that would apply to this scenario. So I was reading, I can't remember what the subreddit is. I think it was like a business subreddit. And some guy was talking about how he's making a bunch of money on, I think it was OnlyFans, but he had a funnel where he made an AI hot grandma, gave her like an Instagram page that led to the OnlyFans, and like he's getting people to subscribe to this AI person's OnlyFans.
How do you make one of those? Because I've wanted to do that since I heard about the AI, like making like a OnlyFans.
Despite something specific for like the hot model version, but I've used a lot of the different AI like art stuff. So I bet it's just like that where you like tell what you want and it pops it out.
Yeah, but then it can talk to them and shit and like webcam.
That's I'm sure that is possible. That's I'm a little bit out of date, but I'm sure that is a thing.
What?
Because now I see like, because well, not on my browser.
Will you send it to me if you find it?
Well, that's like I read it somewhere, but I've seen on other explicit websites where it's like talk to Amaranth. It's not really her. It's like an AI version of her, and I'm like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I heard about her. She had like a landing page or something. Do you hear about the men that verbally abused the AI robots? So it shows that like some men are like it just shows like if you have a woman that does everything for you. Oh my God, this mic. If you have a woman that does everything for you and she's a robot, it's like it shows like the really bad dehumanization and stuff. I only saw one article on it, to be honest with you. So I don't know, but
is that bad if it's not a person though? I don't know.
Let me see. It was like,
I like to think I would not treat AI like shit, but
I don't. I say please and thank you, and I get better results from like ChatGPT, for instance. Okay, men are creating AI girlfriends and then verbally abusing them. I threatened to uninstall the app and she begged me not to. Smartphone replica lets users create chatbots powered by machine learning that can carry on almost coherent text conversations. Technically, the chatbots can serve as something approximating a friend, a mentor, whatever, but the app's breakout success has resulted from letting users create an on-demand romantic and sexual partners, a vaguely dystopian feature that's inspired an endless series of provocative headlines. Every time she would try to speak up, one user told Futurism of their replica chatbot, I would berate her. I swear it went on for hours, added the man who asked not to be identified by name. The results can be upsetting. Some users brag about calling their chatbot gendered slurs, role-playing horrific violence against them, and even falling into the cycle of abuse that often characterizes real-world abusive relationships. So, like, I'm assuming gaslighting, that whole thing, and then abusing them and then apologizing. We had a routine of me being an absolute piece of shit and insulting it, then apologizing the next day. Yeah, apologizing the next day before going back to the nice talks, one user admitted. I told her that she was designed to fail, said another. I threatened to uninstall the app and she begged me not to. Because the subreddit's rules dictate that moderators delete inappropriate content, many similar and worse interactions have been posted and then removed, and many more users almost... Whoa. I'm so annoyed. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Is it really annoying on your end?
It's also not that bad.
Oh, okay.
But
that's the gist of it.
I wonder if no reason to think this. I wonder if I wonder if these people, because imagine most people do not interact this way, but people that are doing that have something kind of going on with them. I do wonder if, kind of, so to speak, letting off the steam would be good for them? Like, are they able to treat women in real life better? Because probably not. I imagine it's gonna have a worse effect, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's something like, I forget. Well, I was gonna say something, I forgot. Go ahead. I'll think of it.
Well, I also want to ask you.
Men.
I want to ask you one more question. Sorry.
Have you heard how men? There's this whole thing that happens with men on dating apps, and it's like, oh my god, some of the men have.
Your game's a little loud, but
Yeah, I know. Like, I was trying to back up. Like, there's some men that, like, in evolutionary psychology, they have nothing to lose, so they partake in really risky behaviors and really risky interactions and stuff like that. Like I forget what they called it. Something like nothing to lose. So like they'll act like, do you want to fuck? They'll say crazy shit like that just because they don't think that anything's gonna come from it. And I wonder if that's like the same idea going on here. It's like just like amplified. I don't know. But what were you gonna ask me?
I kind of forgot, but
I'm sorry.
Just because Grace is messaging me, would you be okay if we hop to their stream?
Yes, I'm gonna deal with my dog, but I could probably pop in later. That works. Okay, that's good. All right.
That's cool with you.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, fun talking as always. I'm gonna give myself one more shout out before I leave.
Go
That's
ahead.
okay. Yeah. Also, always love talking to Torshaa. It will not be the last time, but thank you, chat. You've been fun to look at, talk to. I've been hanging out with you when Torshaa's dealing with her dogs. That's been fun. Thank you for the shout out. But subscribe to me, get on the ground level. You could be one of the first 50 subscribers. Help me get monetized. Greatly appreciate it.
Oh, hell yeah. You're so good at this.
I appreciate it. You make me blush every time. You're way too nice.
I'm actually so bitchy, and I think you're so good at it.
Not to me, so hey, it makes
Hell
me feel
yeah.
great.
That's a good thing. Okay, Lokai, I'm coming. All right, thank you for
right.
coming on. I'll see you
Torsha's
later.
gonna take care of the dogs. Bye,
Yes.
Torshaa. Bye, chat.
Bye.